Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. So, Gamescom is right around the corner, and I think that up to this point, fans don't really know what to expect from this showcase. But now, Geoff Keighley is starting to ramp up the hype. It does sound like some pretty cool surprises are set to be revealed here after all, as it will air for 2 long hours. Yeah, that sounds about like your typical Geoff Keighley event, but it is supposedly quite the spectacle, as he says, and yeah, I'm just going to give you all the latest details on all that, as well as a couple more Xbox Game Pass games that was just announced, both of which has definitely caught my attention as they're looking quite good, actually, and I think several of you all will feel much the same way. Now, before we get started today, though, I just want to go ahead and remind you all, if you haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button below and just go and join that notification king as well. That way, when I drop a new video, you can be one of the first to watch and comment below. And yes, I do read every single one of y'all's comments. I actually really enjoy reading y'all's comments, so definitely make sure to do that as well. Let's just go and jump into the video, though, and we might as well just go ahead and get the bad news out of the way first. Yeah, unfortunately, we do have 2 more delays to go over today, making this, I believe, 3 in total for this week. I mean, it's hardly a surprise anymore, but the first delay will definitely hurt here. It is a big one, as Hogwarts Legacy has officially been pushed back to 2023. I don't think that this is necessarily overly shocking. I think a lot of us did kind of expect this, but you can actually take a look at their tweet here where they say, Hogwarts Legacy will launch on February 10th of 2023 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. The Nintendo Switch launch date will be revealed soon. The team is excited for you to play, but we need a little more time to deliver the best possible game experience. So yeah, without a doubt, this is definitely a big hit for 2022's holiday lineup. I mean, we've seen a lot of games get pushed out from this year, and this holiday is a little bit more bare bones than usual. I mean, there still are a few big blockbuster games that will push a lot of units, such as God of War Ragnarok, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then you also have Modern Warfare 2, which is obviously just massively popular as it is every year. But this is a strange year without a doubt. You know, at the very least, though, as I've pointed out various times, early 2023, I mean, it does look absolutely stacked. I mean, the first 6 months honestly looks legitimately crazy to the point that we might start to see movement there as well. And the reason I say that is because, you know, publishers are going to have to kind of navigate a very crowded lineup of games in early 2023. Either way, though, per usual, the hope here is always for the final release to be good upon launch, and hopefully that ends up being the case for a very ambitious Hogwarts Legacy. Now, as for this other delay here, Metal Slug Tactics has also been pushed into 2023, as you can see here from their official tweet. They note that they need more time in the shop to prepare for the battles ahead, and they'll see us in 2023. I have actually seen quite a few fans online be really excited for this game, as it does look pretty good, though at the very least, when it comes to this game specifically, because there's so many strategy RPGs planned for this year, or have already released, because of that, I think for fans of this genre, again, we'll be plenty busy. I mean, we are legitimately in a resurgence for these tactics RPGs. I mean, I know with any anticipated delay, there's always going to be that sting. I mean, you want to play these sooner, not later, but at the same time, it's in the best interest for the final product. And in the meantime, we can all just kind of hit that never-ending backlog that just continues to grow and grow. Still, though, I would like to hear y'all's opinions on how you feel about the year of 2022 and just all of these different delays. Let me know some of your thoughts in the comments below. Moving on from all of these delays, though, let's just go talk about a game that you can actually play right now, in fact, and that's Cult of the Lamb. This game released just yesterday on August 11th and has been met with quite a bit of praise. It does currently have an 82 overall score on Metacritic, and I've seen some predictions that this could actually end up being the next big indie hit. We usually do see a few of those surprise indie darlings that comes out every year, and from what we're witnessing right now, Cult of the Lamb very much could end up being one of those games. It certainly has the potential at the very least, but if you don't know what this game is, it's a roguelike that combines a colony sim of sorts. I've heard it's a rather unique game that's just kind of its own thing, which is something that I really do like to see. I feel like that there's not really a lot of games that truly surprises me anymore, but every once in a while, you do have that rare game that just comes out and feels a little bit different. And I've been hearing things like that when it comes to Cult of the Lamb. The good thing here, though, is that it's not just getting praise from critics, it's also getting a lot of praise from fans as well, as Steam's user reviews currently sits at an 87% positive rating. So that's definitely a good sign, and if you are looking for a game to pick up and play over the weekend, maybe check out Cult of the Lamb, which is available on PlayStation, the Switch, Xbox, and of course, as I just mentioned, PC. It does cost $25. Let's go and talk about this year's Gamescom, though. In years past, Gamescom was really viewed as that 1-2 punch with E3, and I know many of us are just kind of hopeful that will be the case for this year as well. It will actually be its first in-person event since 2019, which alone is rather interesting. But as far as expectations are concerned, if Geoff Keighley is to be believed, this will definitely be an event worth paying attention to. Of course, he is once again hosting this year's opening night live event on August 23rd, and he just dropped a lot of new exciting details. Yeah, let's just go take a look here at some of his statement transcribed by Video Game Chronicle. Geoff Keighley went on to say more than 20 games will be on stage. It's going to be a big spectacle. We have some very cool guests that are coming to Germany to join us on stage, as well as reveal their games and showcase new content. We have a mix of games that have already been announced and a fair number of new games announced as well. We've got some good stuff. We haven't really announced the lineup of companies that will be there, but I think we've got some cool surprises and things that I think people wouldn't expect to be there. There are a lot of games. We're going to have 2 hours of content to show you, including gameplay clips, trailers, and announcements. This year is a lighter year for releases that are coming out later this year, so a lot of stuff will be about what's coming in 2023 and beyond. But yeah, I think people will be hyped, and I'm very excited for fans to see stuff and be in the room. So this is actually sounding pretty good so far based on what he's saying here. I like that he's being straightforward about certain things. He's being very upfront about it being mostly games set in 2023 and beyond. But I'd say the most interesting thing that he said here is that a fair number of new games will be announced. I think prior to the statement, the expectations kind of was that Gamescom was really just going to be mainly about games that was already announced. And we'll just kind of get updates on those games here. But as confirmed by Geoff Keighley himself, there absolutely will be some surprises. And considering the fact that he says that there are some new games here that fans might not expect, that to me sounds like he did get at least one big game for this event. Now, what that game will be, who knows, but he did manage to get Elden Ring for last year's Summer Game Fest, and we could get yet another big surprise like that here. At the same time, though, he did kind of say some things that concern me a little bit, and the reason I say that is kind of what I've consistently said in the past. I've said this before, but I'm not really necessarily a huge fan of Geoff Keighley's style of events. Now, I appreciate that we get these showcases and everything. That part is great, but my complaints with his events have been pretty consistent. They feel overly bloated. He tries far too hard to make them into a spectacle, and they often have too many ads. And everything he's saying here, it just kind of leads me to believe that that will be the case yet again. He very specifically says that it'll be 2 hours long, and it's a quote-unquote spectacle. So I 100% expect yet another lopsided and poorly paced Geoff Keighley showcase. Now, with all that said, I'm still very excited for some new game announcements, but I'm going in with the expectation that he hasn't fixed some of the issues that I've complained about in the past. I mean, I wish that he would kind of listen to some of the feedback from fans, but because he gets such big viewership, because, gamers are always going to tune in for these events, he can kind of get away with those things. Regardless, though, let's just kind of go over a few of my predictions real quick and what we do actually know will be here. Sonic Frontiers has already been confirmed, and with that, this might actually be the place where we finally officially get a release date, hopefully for sometime in 2022. No more delays, please, right? But do expect to see Sonic Frontiers at Gamescom. I'm still not 100% sold on this game just yet, but I am very hopeful that it will turn out well, and I do think that it needs a good showing here at Gamescom. As for some of my predictions, though, one game that we have heard a lot about this year is Dead Island 2. We keep hearing that a re-reveal is coming soon for this game, so maybe that could be here, though with the latest rumor we did also hear it might be set later in a year. So I'm kind of mixed on if this will be at Gamescom or if instead it will be at the Game Awards. My bet right now is probably on the Game Awards, but I guess we'll see about all of that. We do also know that Xbox will have a presence at Gamescom, though they do have their own little streams, so I'm not entirely sure if they'll show up at the opening live event or not, but if they do, both Starfield and Redfall would be good games to give us an update on. However, I don't expect them to focus on any games beyond what we saw at the Xbox Bethesda showcase back in June. And then for my last prediction, I think we could actually see Elden Ring DLC. Again, Geoff Keighley did get the Elden Ring gameplay last year at the Summer Game Fest, and I think that it would be fitting if he got the world premiere for its DLC as well. That there would be absolutely amazing, and I think that alone would make this event very worth it because, I mean, I love that game. It's probably a top 10 game for me of all time. That's how much I like Elden Ring. But let me know some of your predictions in the comments below and whether or not you're excited about this year's Gamescom. Now, a couple new day one releases were announced for Xbox Game Pass, both of which might be a little bit more niche, but I think for fans of these type of games are really going to enjoy what they see here. I do think they look very good, especially the first one being Soccer Story. This is one of those sports fantasy RPGs, much like Golf Story or even something like Dodgeball Academia. I do very much like these type of games, and Soccer Story seems to really have a great idea here. It's being described as an open world RPG where soccer has been banned across the world, but suddenly a magical ball chose you, the savior of soccer. You then must journey across the world in its 15-hour-long campaign, meet quirky characters, complete various soccer-related goals, no pun intended, and complete puzzles. It even has a 4-player local multiplayer mode. Yes, all this sounds a little out there and everything, but I like it. It's got a fun-sounding element to it, and I like the art style as well. I mean, I think if you like sports fantasy RPGs, you definitely have to like what you're seeing here so far in Soccer Story. And there's two very cool parts about this announcement. One is that it is set to release on all platforms this year in 2022. That means you're not going to have to wait too long, and you can pick it up on any platform that you want, including the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, or PC. The other really cool part about this, though, is that yes, it is a day one Xbox Game Pass title. So just yet another interesting game to look forward to if you're a Game Pass subscriber. These day one releases really is just what makes this service so amazing. And the fact that they release day one games on a monthly basis is just absolutely fantastic. That's not the only day one title that was announced, though, as Moonscars just got a release date for September 27th. It, of course, again, will be available on all platforms, but it will also launch directly into Game Pass. This is a Metroidvania type of game, which, as you all know, I do love these type of games, and they do say it's a Souls-like. So do absolutely expect challenging gameplay combined with its attractive art style. Really, though, September is already shaping up to be a pretty good month for Game Pass subscribers, as Grounded 1.0 is also set to get its full release, and in fact, that's actually going to release on the same day, again being September 27th. Now, I don't like that part. I do feel like they should probably be spread out a little bit better than this. Grounded will probably get a lot of recognition as it is a first-party Xbox game, and it's actually already had a lot of success being in early access, so something like Moonscars could possibly get buried here, but hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully both gets a lot of playtime, but per usual, for Game Pass subscribers out there, there's just always something to play and just always something to look forward to. Let's go take a look at the poll of the day, though, where I asked you all, do you think Nintendo will finally have their big General Direct next month in September? You know, Nintendo seems to have taken a new approach this year as they've spread out a lot of their big announcements. Back in June, we got that Xenoblade 3 Direct, then last month we got Bayonetta 3, and then just a few days ago we, of course, got that Splatoon 3 Direct. That's pretty much it for their big 2022 games, though. Pokemon kind of does their own thing with Pokemon Presents, and Nintendo did have that big Direct last year in September, so maybe everything is kind of lining up for that. Maybe, possibly. But based on the results here, most of you all are not confident in this, with 57% of you saying no, it won't happen, while 33% of you said yes. Now, H. James in the comments did have an astute observation, and that's that Nintendo doesn't really do things when people want them to. And yeah, okay, that is true. Nintendo has always just kind of done their own thing, and I do agree with that. So pegging them for any specific date or even a specific month is kind of hard to do. That's one of the things we really see with the consistent quote-unquote leaks that we see online. It seems like these leakers, they predict every single month until they eventually get it right, and you know they just consistently have been getting it wrong, and you know it's because it's hard to peg Nintendo down. You know, that's kind of the thing, because they really could just put an event together at any time. So as a fan, keeping your expectations in check is probably the smart direction to take. Still, though, I'm just going to go ahead and make a prediction right now that yes, a Direct will happen next month. Now, I know I could be wrong here, but my gut feeling is that next month is the month for a General Direct. Again, last year they did have that General Direct in September, and they could continue on with that trend and start to hype up the holiday lineup and beyond. You know, that's always a good way to push a lot of units out the door for those holiday months, not just for the games that are releasing this year, but for future titles as well. I guess we'll just kind of see on all that, though. There's definitely a chance that I'll be wrong here, as you all seem to believe, so I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and find out for ourselves. Anyways, though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.